Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be looking at what would they tell you if they could say anything. This is going to be a message cards only reading and there are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the rose quartz. Group 2 is this fluorite. And group 3 is this piece of Lapis Lazuli with the flower of life on it. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I've just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we will get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the rose quartz. So let's see, what does this person want to tell you? What would they say if they could say anything from their higher self? Okay, and they say, did you give up on us? So things might have gone kind of cold in this connection. Something might have happened between you and this person, kind of a disagreement, or in some way, maybe you were feeling your needs weren't being met and you have kind of removed yourself from the situation. If this has been sort of a long-standing no contact situation, you might have even just pulled back energetically from them. This is something that this person is really sensing, and it's making them start to have to really go inside, go within themselves and sort of figure out what it is on their part that has been done or has not been done that has resulted in whatever the state of the connection is currently. Again, if you've sort of pulled back, if you have in turn gone a little cold on this person, not as out of kind of an energy of spite or to give them a taste of their own medicine, but just as kind of reprioritizing your focus toward filling your own cup, toward investing in situations and aspects of your life that fill you with a sense of abundance, giving into situations, or, again, investing your time in things that hold some degree of reciprocity to that. Or again, if this is a kind of a separation state, just even redirecting your focus. If this was kind of a runner-chaser dynamic, sort of discontinuing that chase and redirecting that energy onto things that you do have the ability to affect in your life, things that, are in fact delivering some kind of prosperity or yield to you. And so again, this has really been picked up by this person. This has been noted by this person, and it is causing them to, at this point in time, to have to go within and kind of retrace their steps, starting to figure out maybe where they could have done things better, said things differently, or starting to address some fears that may have caused them to kind of initiate this energy of pulling away. Maybe they pulled back first, or they started running, which kind of instigated this energy of chase. And they also say, when you see me, I try not to look into your eyes because I know you will see past my facade. So this could be somebody that has a hard time making eye contact with you. You could be a very intuitive person. There's a sense here as well of maybe feeling that when they look at you, as much as maybe you are able to see into them, they are able to see into you as well. And what they're seeing is a mirror. This is a mirror of both all the things that they can become, kind of their greatest potential. And it also reflects to them some of the work that they need to do within themselves in order to kind of step beyond shadows or perceptions of inadequacy maybe, or any kind of self-esteem issues that they have, in order to step into, that light and that fullness, that totality of their being. This could be somebody that has been kind of operating out of distortions, or again, kind of this energy of low self-esteem. They may overcompensate for that with kind of a puffed up exterior, kind of this grand ego that they try to present, this kind of overly confident air about them, which really is just a mask for some deep inadequacies within this person. There's a sense of vulnerability, a sense of being in your presence. It feels like that safe space where they can actually touch on some of those elements of vulnerability within themselves that they may have really tried to kind of hide away from the world, this idea of the facade or the mask. And it's something which feels very comforting, but at the same time, this person feels very exposed in your presence. And so there's this yearning, this pull towards you as kind of this haven where they can then kind of let down that guard and actually allow some of maybe even these wounds within them out into the light of day, to kind of get some air to start to heal, kind of instigate that self-healing mechanism within them. In some way, even just the energy exchange between the both of you, it feels almost like a remedy to this person, something that, a lot of these kind of wounds within them, they may have been trying to avoid these things, deflect these things, maybe busy themselves with any number of kind of distractions. That could be work, that could be, other relationships, that could be lifestyle choices, that could be substances, or again, just kind of other things that sort of pull the attention away from kind of these issues or these components or this baggage that this person has been carrying along with them. And this might have been kind of a difficult struggle to maintain themselves, to maintain this exterior of composure while they're hurting so much inside. And there's almost this sense of relief in your presence that this is the space, even energetically, or what you instigate within them energetically, that the time is now to heal. The time is now to kind of put down these burdens that they've been carrying around, that they've been trying to kind of hide away from themselves and from the world. And so again, very drawn to that, but at the same time feeling very exposed and very vulnerable in your presence, and even in the prospect of addressing some of these things they may have been running from for quite some time. They also say, I can't picture you with anyone else but me. I hope it's not too late. So if you find yourself in distance or separation from this person, maybe physically, literally, or something, energetically has gone kind of cold or distant in the interactions with them, if they're still in your life, this person really doesn't want to kind of have this be the end of the story. They are recognizing things are being triggered within them, that they need to heal. There's some things that need to be addressed, that need to be kind of let go of or moved through in order to really have the potential to build something lasting and meaningful out of this connection. This person might be kind of slow or stubborn to kind of let down that wall, let down that guard. Again, this idea of things they may have been running from for quite some time. They're hoping that you can be patient with them, but at the same time, there is this kind of energy of urgency with that as much as they may be kind of prolonging or delaying the inevitable at this point, there is kind of this inner inclination that they can't keep pushing this off forever. They're seeing you in a very beautiful light. Again, this energy of healing that you emit, that you kind of a self-healing mechanism that you activate within this person, even just, by being in your presence or having, been in contact with you in general. And they're starting to really cherish this and understand this in a way that they may have taken for granted previously. And kind of with that comes this idea that, if they're starting to understand and really grasp and experience just how much of a nourishing presence that you have, even without trying, just the energy that you exude, there is this sense of they can't be the only one that sees this. And so kind of this fear that's causing them to need to start taking this more seriously, this work of what they need to do inside to kind of face these shadows, face their own reflection, and really learn to love what they see. And they also say, you inspire me to do things I've never done before. So this is more of that energy of anything they've been running from or avoiding in terms of, some pain or some kind of lingering wounds, feelings of inadequacy within themselves, that they may have just been so accustomed to kind of just moving forward, not looking in that rear view mirror, not really looking around, just trying to, focus on what they have immediate control over. Kind of somebody who has been, operating out of somewhat, and, we all, to a certain extent, operate out of our own distortions, which vary from time to time, but this feels like somebody who has really avoided some deep introspection. This could be somebody who, has really kind of learned some of these wounds about themselves and has knows themselves on that level, knows some aspect of this shadow or this perception of shadow that they carry within, and kind of as a reaction to that has done everything possible to kind of create a life or a way of moving through the world or a perspective that avoids that completely. It takes the long route around. Somebody who, is very almost particular about, things that again trigger this deep healing mechanism within them, just kind of shutting that out, shooing that away, avoiding that completely. And so with this is kind of these things that they've been avoiding, this long, circuitous route that they've been taking over, this, this core that still exists within them, these unresolved things that still exist within them. Something about this dynamic or this connection is really causing them to not, as much as they may have kind of moved away from you or gone cold, with this particular situation, they are looking around a little bit more. This idea of almost the blinders being taken off of this person to some extent, and they're starting to really understand some of their motivations. They are starting to understand how kind of a pattern of avoidance has, just kind of further exacerbated sort of the repetition of encountering this trigger, encountering opportunities to see these wounds within them in a variety of kind of guises and manifestations throughout their life. And so as much as, again, if they've kind of moved into that just tendency to kind of arc around these things, this time through this connection, something has shifted to where, they're looking around and they're almost taking that bird's eye view of themselves, maybe finally and for the first time, to recognize, oh, this is a pattern. This is a pattern that is emerging within me. It's something that might have been self-protective, but through this connection, they're starting to recognize that tendency to kind of arc around things that make them uncomfortable is in fact steering them away from blessings and from opportunities for abundance and healing and happiness that they are so craving within, but through, again, kind of their own coping mechanisms or kind of a survival strategy that they have had to implement. They're at the point now in their life or through this connection of really starting to recognize kind of what the cost of that is, what the expense of that is, kind of avoiding that discomfort, but at the same time sacrificing bliss. And they also say, you have greatly impacted my life. So again, this change in perspective, this person really starting to take ownership or recognizing within themselves, these patterns and kind of the cost of that. This idea of whatever this tendency is within them that might have worked for a period of time, they're starting to feel that the juice is not worth the squeeze anymore in this situation. Just the way that the two of you interact, your energy together with one another. And again, this kind of healing, this nourishment that they feel, it's something to where kind of with the absence of that, or the further away that they move from that, they're starting to really become cognizant about how they almost have been getting in their own way. They've almost had this tendency to self-sabotage. And through this very unique connection, this kind of once in a lifetime opportunity to really address some things that they've been carrying around within, to really heal some things and release some things, and to make some major changes within themselves and in their life that they've been prolonging for quite some time, or just didn't really have sort of the right circumstances or the right energy to kind of kick off this process within them. They are starting in that, in this space to really recognize that as much as they are deeply triggered by this situation, that this is in fact the greatest gift that anyone has ever given them. And it could be quite accidental just by default of the two of you, in the way your energy kind of flows within and between one another. Okay, and they also say, I was afraid of what others might think. So this can tie into that idea of the facade or the mask that this person has been wearing. Almost like a double life that they have been leading, where maybe they present this very calm and collected and self-assured exterior that is just a ruse for a lot of kind of pain that they hold within them. And so there's been this hesitation to really let that down, let that wall down, let that guard down, and to let more of their true self be exposed, not being certain how others in their environment will receive this, or again, their authentic self, kind of wounds and all, being very contrary, or they perceive it to be very contrary to whatever this kind of life or persona is that they have built. And so this can be this motivation for what has been instigated within them, and kind of that reaction to sort of run or pull away from this connection, to kind of recoil from this connection, to stay within that comfort zone within themselves. Not sure if others will, be able to accept and embrace parts of themselves that they have had a hard time accepting and embracing as well. And they also say, with you, I feel a tornado of love, lust, and desire. So a lot of feelings that this person has for you. This connection already, at whatever stage you find yourselves at, has really shifted something within this person. It has stirred something up. There's a lot coming up from some deeply embedded portions of them. As much as they may have tried to run, or maybe kind of avoiding this, or sort of pulled away from the connection, energetically, there's been a process that has been set in motion. This person coming to this point of awareness where they can no longer avoid these things about themselves, even creating physical or energetic distance between the two of you. There's still just such a palpable dynamic between you, almost like the work even that you are doing to kind of cope with whatever has occurred with this person, wherever you find yourself, or just independent of that, other work that you're doing, other ways in which you are really striving to create that best version of self, to bring that from the inside out, to create a life that you are excited about, the way in which you are using discernment to really filter your environment, filter what it is that you're taking in, whether that's media that you are ingesting, the food you are ingesting. Maybe you've gone on some kind of a health kick. You're starting to take that seriously, or you're starting to really put some plans and preparations in place for some larger goals that you want to achieve. All of this energy of forward momentum is again affecting this person. It's stirring a lot up within themselves. There's a lot for them to really sift through and sort through. This can also be the energy of this person really having pulled away because of that kind of intense and carnal desire that they have for you. On some level, this connection, they're also recognizing it as very sacred. And so kind of these wounds within this person, they're not wanting to inflict these upon kind of the potential that exists between the both of you. In some way, this is almost a self-protective protective mechanism that they've pulled away from you, motivated by, and kind of subconsciously, it's almost also a way of sort of protecting the integrity of this connection, while this person then is kind of sifting through this debris or this rubble or these kind of ancient and embedded wounds within them that are really being brought to the surface. They're recognizing that as much as this connection has already changed them, that there's a lot of internal work that they need to do in order to get to that place of being a little less cluttered within themselves, so that they can kind of step forth into this connection with that very invigorated energy, as opposed to something that will just kind of, they don't want to be almost a contributing factor to kind of bringing this down, or to be this kind of obstacle. This is somebody that wants to do things right in this connection, and although there may still be some avoidance to some degree about really facing these shadows within them, again, some kind of mechanism has been triggered where it almost feels kind of like this energy of as much as they have kind of pulled away from you, it's like this hermit energy. They've pulled away in order to kind of go within. A lot happening sort of beneath the surface, a lot that they are reflecting on, or that is becoming apparent to them, that is stirring up through this tornado energy of everything that's being kicked up within them, being very triggered, very, very charged by this connection, very inspired by this connection, very challenged by this connection, kind of just so many winds of change that are circulating within them, starting to see you in this connection from a different perspective. Kind of the more that distance has grown, either you've created distance, or they have created distance, or both of you have sort of done this mutually, that in that kind of wide space, that kind of open area that has been created between the both of you, that this is really, again, giving them that wider perspective and that kind of greater vantage point to sort through what it is that they feel for you, to really be able to perceive beyond kind of this 3D attraction that they have for you, kind of understanding this connection as being beyond typical romances that they've experienced, or kind of an additional layer, kind of this next level love, to ways in which they may have been attracted or had feelings, or even been in love with other people. That there's this whole other element to it. It's an energetic element. In some way, it's almost it's getting closer to that idea of unconditional love, where they really feel that you're helping this person to really love all facets of themselves through whatever actions you've taken now or in the past, that has really given this person the opportunity to again have that time and space to really look within. You've honored this person's boundaries. You've honored this person's need for space. You've declared your own kind of need for sovereignty at this time as you are reprioritizing, and all of that it's helping energetically to again kind of move beyond some illusions and bring a lot of that truth to the surface. They also say, I'm sorry for not appreciating you more. So they definitely might have taken this connection for granted in the past, been a little overwhelmed by it, been a little kind of uncertain by what was being stirred up by the energetic intensity between the both of you. But again, time and distance is really changing this person's perspective. And they say, I found fault in petty things while you just accepted me. So again, this idea of unconditional love that they are getting closer to in the space, in the distance, it's really becoming apparent to them that even the ways in which you've honored and respected kind of the boundaries that this person has set, it could be so unusual to what they're used to dealing with. They may be accustomed to people who kind of throw tantrums if they're told no, or again, if boundaries are put up, or people who seek to encroach upon these things, or, tell this person that, try to question that kind of need for autonomy, or advocating for oneself. And it's this level of acceptance that you have really, given this person, even if to some extent this is kind of a runner-chaser situation, there's still that element of distance. In some way, this really feels like you're either on the brink of discontinuing that chase, or you have discontinued that chase, and it's been very abruptly felt by this person. Even just as you're getting to that point, you're kind of building up that momentum to kind of release this and redirect your focus elsewhere. This person is really anticipating that. They're feeling that kind of deliberation within you. They're feeling you approaching that kind of crossroads, that decision point. And it's starting to, again, help them to really appreciate you in a new light, where, there's again, almost this acceptance for them that, if this is their choice, if this is how they want to conduct themselves in this situation, if this is what they want to do with this kind of blessing or gift of a connection that exists between the both of you, this very, transmutational energy between the both of you, then, not just kind of settling for chasing this person's shadow, so to speak, but, again, kind of rediscovering and stepping into your own light, that all of that is offering this person perspective that they may have been focusing on the wrong things, even with this idea of petty things. Maybe this person was overly focused on either how dissimilar you two are, and they were trying to kind of make up excuses for not investing in this connection more, thinking that ultimately it wouldn't work out, it couldn't possibly work out, maybe just thinking, questioning themselves that it's all just kind of lust, and it's something very carnal, and there's not, there's just almost like this deep incompatibility, or there's no way that this could be made to work in a very substantial and long-term way. Or on the contrast of that, almost trying to pick apart all these similarities between the both of you. This energy of really trying to convince themselves that it's too good to be true, trying to move into that that realm of just excusing that, maybe their vision or their judgment of the situation, their feelings were clouded because of this, this overwhelming kind of attraction, this physical attraction that they had to you, trying to find red flags where there were in fact none, and kind of as the time and space is growing between you, they're starting to really gain some perspective about that, and starting to recognize how that might have just been kind of fear-based, or again, this energy of self-sabotage. They also say the timing still isn't quite right. So that's more of that energy of knowing they need to work on themselves, work through some things, kind of move beyond some self-defeating or self-deprecating patterns within themselves, to really see and accept themselves, even just energetically, in the same way that you have been so accepting and embracing of their energy, of their choices to kind of move as they will in this connection. Honoring that need for space that they may have either directly asked of you, or could have even just energetically started to pull away. Okay, and they also say, I don't want to hide this connection anymore. So this is somebody that wants to, ultimately take things to the next level with you, whatever that means, whether this is coming back into communication, whether this is kind of accelerating the pace at which the romance between you is blossoming. This could even be somebody who, has been denying their feelings for you, that wants to, finally speak these things, speak this truth, move out of that energy of fear and kind of resistance, and really dive fully into this connection. And we also have, I'm speaking through songs. So they could be listening to songs that remind them of you, getting a lot of healing through music. You could also be getting a lot of feeling very connected to this person at the higher self level as you're listening to songs. Maybe significant lyrics are coming through. This can also be somebody, if they are musically inclined, they may be writing a song for you, or playing music as kind of and sort of thinking of you, kind of sending those loving vibrations from afar during this period of time and space where they are not able on the 3D level to kind of retrace their steps, to speak where they've been silent, or to offer some kind of an apology, or kind of create the genesis of reconciliation between the both of you. Okay, and we also have, I'm not hiding the connection for the wrong reason. So that's a second confirmation there about hiding the connection. So this to me is really talking about hiding from the connection, and really serving as kind of this confirmation for you that, this is something, this is an intensity that this person has never experienced before, in connection with another person, in connection with a romance, with that idea of tornado and what's really been kicked up within them. And that feels very reciprocal, that on the same token, you have also not experienced something so intense in regards to romance or, even just connections. Could have been something that started off very benign, that almost caught you both off guard, kind of entering into something maybe with the idea of friendship in mind, and kind of the energy, what sort of opened up or was unveiled between you through the dynamic of energy exchange really just took you both beyond sort of what your original thoughts or expectations about the nature of this connection would be. And so somebody who's kind of pulled back from that, hidden from that, maybe even trying to hide parts of themselves that they feel are kind of messy or broken. Again, that energy of sort of self-protective, but also trying to kind of protect this connection from some of those more, what they perceive to be damaged parts of themselves. That they're really wanting to let you know that, this is not for anything that you have done wrong. This is not because, there's something innately flawed about this. In essence, this connection is exactly right. You are exactly right. You are exactly what they've been looking for, exactly what they've been needing, exactly what they've been wanting. And sort of the gravity of that, the intensity of that has caused them to kind of pull away, distance themselves, put the brakes on, or hesitate in progressing forward in this situation. But it's something where, again, this idea of hiding, there is this desire to kind of go through this internal process, to kind of walk through that valley of shadow within themselves. Maybe even going through some kind of an ego death at this point in time, some kind of a dark night of the soul, in order to really, rise more into that authenticity of who they are, to be able to, really honor this connection in an open way. This feels like somebody who doesn't want to, kind of keep this connection a secret. This is somebody who wants to do things right. As they are kind of envisioning and imagining themselves, imagining a future with you. They're seeing the two of you, side by side, kind of moving through life together, wanting to come to that place within themselves where they feel like that adequate partner. They feel that the two of you could add something to the measure of one another's existence. Somebody who wants to bring this connection out into the light of day, wants to, announce their feelings for you, announce that in a very public way, make this known, make this official, kind of bring this from whatever stage this exists right now out into manifest and tangible reality. And we also have, I'm going to take action, I'm just planning the approach. So again, in kind of the silence or sort of this energy of hesitation, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, a lot this person is reflecting on within themselves, things that are needing to change. It does feel with that energy of the tornado that there are changes that are starting to happen, maybe in their literal world or even just changes within themselves. This feels like a very fast-paced energy, but there also might be a lot of kind of long-standing, debris within themselves that they need to dislodge. But this is somebody who, again, whatever action that you have taken, whatever change in perspective you've taken or that you are considering taking, maybe a different approach, pulling back your energy, redirecting your focus, even that very act of contemplating this, nearing that crossroad, nearing that threshold, it is doing something to this person energetically, where it's really helping to, continue that energy that's stirring within them. They may still be avoiding, but at the same time, kind of that arc away from those wounds they've been avoiding, that it's closing in, that radius is closing in. They're looking at that more. They're starting to address that more. Other things may even be stirring up and kind of in their external circumstances that is really in conjunction with sort of the dynamic between the both of you is causing them to really take a different approach. Planning that needs to take place, things that need to be closed out or need to be moved away from or kind of fall away from this person's external circumstances and also internally before they feel prepared and ready to kind of meet you at your level. Somebody who wants to come in and do things right, somebody who doesn't want to continue in kind of this cat and mouse energy, but really wants to step up, to be by your side, to be that partner that you need, to really, become that version of themselves that even if you've not spoken this, they can see it in your eyes, that you recognize that, you see into the core, you see beyond the facades, and beyond kind of this carefully crafted exterior of this person. You're helping this person to believe through kind of your acceptance and your cognizance of that aspect of themselves. You're helping them to believe that that version of self, that authenticity is worthy of being seen and being presented. They also say, I've been telepathically communicating with you. So you could be definitely experiencing this, kind of the words and the vibrations of love that they are not speaking or are unable to speak in the 3D sense, feeling that, getting that, a lot of dreams, also that idea of songs. So a lot of communication happening, still a very dynamic energy between the both of you in kind of these higher realms, even if things are kind of quiet or it's a little bit tense or stuck in the 3D sense. Okay, and they say, you and I were too young. So this could be somebody from your past, somebody that you dated or had a connection with or an interaction with when you were younger. And, you know, through time and space, as your lives have continued and kind of moving in other directions, this is an indication that this person has never forgotten about you. You're still with them. You're still in their heart. They still get reminders of you. This connection is very much alive, although, you know, time has passed and it is maybe in a 3D sense in a dormancy stage. This can also really relate to, if this is someone you've been more recently dealing with or are currently dealing with, there is this idea of almost emotional growth or development that they are understanding, they're recognizing needs to take place, that there's some kind of development within both of you, some kind of a greater understanding of who you are, a greater sort of balancing of light and shadow that needs to take place within the both of you, and that this person is, you know, really starting to take up that mantle, to do that work within themselves that they may have, you know, maybe accomplished to a certain level, and had been avoiding in some ways, or hadn't even been, you know, aware of certain things within themselves that needed to kind of change or evolve or kind of be moved beyond. But they're understanding and are kind of motivated toward that growth potential in this situation, moving beyond the circumstances you find yourselves in now, not wanting this to be the end or where you leave things or where things remain between the both of you. And we also have, it's time for me to heal now. So more of that energy of the self-healing mechanism that's been triggered within this person that has really been brought to the surface through this connection. In the silence, in the distance, there's a lot happening. This person very motivated to change for themselves, to change for you, to really, you know, step into that evolution that they may have been avoiding, or that it wasn't the right time for it yet. There's also this sense of kind of destiny with this, that, you know, maybe the roads the two of you have walked, the way the two of you have kind of moved through the world, the ways in which you've gotten to know yourself and, you know, have really become comfortable with yourself to a certain extent, which you presented to the world. That was a very necessary phase. It was something, almost a cycle of development that needed to be accomplished independently. The two of you then intersecting with one another, and it marks this turning point, this next stage, kind of this idea of the steps up to this point really leading you both to this very moment. And so now at this point in time, it's almost like that next level of that kind of journey into self, that journey into healing, into authenticity takes place that wasn't possible before, because it wasn't time for that to take place before. So it's almost this idea of now is the time that everything is in divine and perfect order in this circumstance, as disappointing or frustrating or painful as these circumstances might be, that, you know, it's really working out for the two of you for your highest good. The conditions are right, the circumstances are right. You've touched each other energetically, and again, it has set something in motion, a process or a series of processes in motion within each of you, that as you lean into this, you trust this, you flow with that, you explore that, you allow yourself to be transformed by this phenomenon or process or dynamic that is taking place. It brings you both individually up to the point of being able to actualize the fullest potential of what is possible within yourselves and within this connection. And we also have, I can't stop thinking about you. So that can be more of that energy of telepathy. This person really sending you those loving vibrations, even an apology that is owed, that they just are not able or prepared to provide you in a 3D sense at this time. This can also really talk about if this is someone still in your life that may have gone cold or is a little bit distant, or it just feels that there's more than what is being revealed or spoken These two cards can be confirmation of that whatever they're presenting to you, it is again this idea of it's almost a fraction of what they're really feeling. It's an aspect, it's a mask that is covering some deep and intense love and desire on multiple levels that they have for you. They're thinking a lot about this. They're trying to puzzle this out, who you are to them, what this means, why this connection is so intense, why it has taken them by surprise, what's to be learned from this, what's to be gained from this, where to go with this moving forward. And we also have just being near you is intoxicating. So this person is very activated, very, invigorated by you, by your energy. This can also be very overwhelming for this person because of the intensity of this, being both challenged and drawn in, being both, confronted and soothed by this energy. Very unusual for what they might have experienced in energetic connections with other people in their life or in the past, but it's something where, again, the distance doesn't feel good for them. It's not something that they want to continue. There is this draw back to you, as much as they may try to kind of avoid this or sort of run from this, that even in their quiet moments, they're drawn back to you. There are signs, there's, feeling your energy, this telepathy, going two ways, this idea of songs that going two ways, to where you're both on some level, even as much as you're trying to focus on yourself and kind of fill your own cup. Again, there's this idea of really being drawn back, kind of brought back to that center, to that core truth and reality of the dynamic between the both of you. And we also have, I wish I could share my good news with you. So a lot could be happening with this person in terms of things that have fallen away or being stirred up or stirred away from their life. And all of that, really, that space that's been made, it's starting to be filled with a sense of hopefulness, with a sense of, maybe this person was kind of just in this energy of complacency for so long that, this is their life, this is how it is, trying to be very grateful for what they have, but on some level, kind of this lingering almost dissatisfaction or a feeling of there should be something more, or is this all there is? And trying not to kind of get caught in that, trying not to get caught in the weeds of that, but to really just stay very present and, again, very mindful and grateful. But again, as things are really being cleared and kind of the blinders are taken off, this widened perspective for this person, there's a sense of hopefulness about them, maybe that is kind of sparked or initiated in them for the first time in years, or the first time ever. And it's something that, it's giving them the strength and stamina to continue or to even start doing this kind of inventory within themselves, this self-healing work, in order to kind of generate and honor and embody more of that energy of hopefulness. This can also really relate to certain things that might have been obstacles between the two of you in the past, things that they had chosen to direct their focus on at the expense of this connection. A lot of these things might have closed out or fallen away, and it's something that, there's this energy of wanting to share that with you, that other circumstances are done, or, a series of excuses that they had, or even belief systems that kind of were at odds with the situation between the both of you, that they've kind of they've closed these things out. They've found closure. They've kind of learned to even sort of fit or accommodate these things into kind of a wider understanding of the significance of this connection. Again, this idea of not wanting to hide this connection anymore. This is somebody who really could have taken their power back from something, stepped into their power, or is just kind of moving away from toxic or distorted people, places, and things. Some ideas that they could have, things they want to work on, things they may have even discovered within themselves that, is really paying off in terms of how this new perspective is then affecting sort of the tangible abundance that they are experiencing in their material world. And so there is, again, this desire to move closer to you, to move back in your direction, to be able to share these things, these discoveries, these revelations, and to partake in these victories and milestones with you by their side. Okay, and we have, I'm seeing through the illusions. So again, kind of that idea of the widening of the perspective, the blinders coming off, this person really recognizing how they have almost been self-sabotaging or limiting themselves from the fullest potential of who they could be in this lifetime. Any excuses that they've made, any other sort of circumstances or situations that they might have prioritized over this connection, or that they might have felt this connection was in direct opposition to this person during the kind of space between you, is starting to really get to the truth of these things, that these things or these patterns or habits are not serving their highest good. These are things that can't come with them on kind of the level that they are ascending to within themselves. And so that can be part of that good news that they want to share with you. And we also have, you mean the world to me. So again, any kind of separation or distance, any kind of cold or kind of withdrawn energy, this is just a facade. This person holds a lot of love for you. There's a lot unspoken to you. This person also with that idea of the world, wanting to really tie up some loose ends, exit some kind of difficult cycles or kind of cycles that have been limiting them, either externally or internally. And we also have, I can't wait to love you. So a lot of the motivation here is what they have kind of tasted, what they have touched upon, even just energetically with you. This is almost a guiding light. It's a point on the horizon that they are then able to, almost this idea of navigating by the stars, not really sure what the road ahead is, not really sure how to reach that destination, moving into this energy of trust. If this is someone who can, is still sort of in your life to some degree, or is able to kind of watch you online maybe, and things that you're posting, they're recognizing some kind of a glow up within you, and it's really helping them as well to get very serious about this work within themselves. It's giving them that courage to kind of peel back these layers, do that difficult work, face these shadows they may have been avoiding for a long time, in order to again kind of come to this place of wholeness and fulfillment within themselves, where they are able to give to you an energy of abundance, as opposed to kind of providing further distraction or kind of this weighed down or heavy or kind of distorted energy that they might have been in the past. And we also have, I feel like I'm obsessing over you. So more of that energy of thoughts. A lot of telepathy could be going on. This is definitely a situation where it is not out of sight, out of mind. You are in this person's heart. They're getting a lot of clarity about you, about what has happened in the past, about their role in things. It is consuming a lot of their attention. So you might be kind of feeling like this person is pulling on your energy a little bit. If that's the case, just kind of making sure to sort of wish them love, send them love in these points in time. This is not clingy or needy. This is almost this person really searching for that ability to love themselves fully, recognizing you as an energetic variant or frequency of love, of that love vibration, and gravitating toward that. This really speaking to that person, wanting to move to that place, wanting to kind of come to that place. And so that tugging that you're almost feeling, or kind of as they're, they keep coming back into your thoughts. You keep getting these reminders. You keep, feeling them around you, feeling their presence around you. It's definitely, it's this need for love. And so setting these kind of loving and healthy boundaries within yourself can be done through love. When you feel them, kind of sending them those well wishes, redirecting your focus, sending out that harmony from your heart to their heart, redirecting your focus then. And so you're not pushing this person away, you're helping to reinforce that you are that safe and loving and nurturing space for them, but then also teaching them how to kind of drink from that fountain of love, and then at the same time, to take that nectar, take that infusion, and apply that to some other things that, they're needing to kind of move beyond and work beyond in their own life. This can also really tie into, again, feeling this person, or like they're kind of tugging at your energy, or just, you're feeling them intensely around you, which could be quite different from what you're experiencing in the 3D sense. This is, again, kind of that confirmation or that proof of where their intentions are, where they're headed, what their ultimate goal is, what they are directing their efforts and their energy and attention towards is moving beyond wherever you find yourselves currently. And we also have I'm scared, it's too risky. So that is more of that energy of kind of the false persona, the mask or the facade, the caricature of themselves that they may have perfected in life to kind of maneuver through, or, you know, again, as kind of to deflect attention from some things that they may have a hard time looking at within themselves, or that they have kind of come to identify as points of contention within themselves, things they are ashamed about, maybe perceptions they have of emotion, you know, being emotional and being vulnerable as signs of weakness, and so kind of overcompensating with almost this kind of overly inflated ego, or trying to come across as very strong and unbothered, unaffected by things, very stoic energy. There is this urge to step into that softer side within themselves. But again, feeling this kind of trepidation about doing that because it's so different from how they've been moving through their life up to this point, or in general for a while. And so there is this desire to kind of move towards you, to sort of take down these walls that separate you, walls within themselves that kind of inhibit their ability to receive and give love in a healthy and reciprocal manner. And so through this fear, you know, that recognition of fear, this feels like something they might be turning away from it to some degree, but they keep looking back at it. They keep redirecting their focus to it. And it's through that very first step of, you know, kind of admitting there's a problem, recognizing that, calling that elephant in the room what it is, that they are able to then, you know, find that courage, summon that courage within themselves, to kind of walk through that fire of fear, to allow themselves to be kind of cleansed of their perceptions or the way that they've been moving through the world, and to allow that authenticity, that light, that truth within them in general in their life, and also as it relates to their feelings for you and their intentions for this connection, to allow that to really come to the surface, come to the forefront, to infuse them from the inside out, and to really help to change and shape their actions towards you in the future. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 1, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got O, J, H, U, E, Z, Y, Q, V, G, B, K, and D. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the Fluorite. So let's see, what does this person want you to know from their higher self if they could tell you anything right now? Okay, and they say, I'm reminded of you every time I walk in this building. So this could be somebody that you have a work connection with, somebody that you may live in proximity to, you share kind of a similar social setting, a friend group. This person could also be sort of retracing their steps in terms of times that you've spent together, places that you've gone. This is an energy of kind of nostalgia and reminiscing. This is also maybe talking about some kind of an online community that the two of you share together, to where anytime they are kind of in proximity to these ideas or this kind of collective of individuals, that maybe the concepts that are discussed, the dynamic, the stories that are shared, that it really brings them back to memories of you. It helps to provide them with some kind of a perspective as well about maybe the dynamic between the both of you. You could consider this person your twin flame or your soulmate, for example. This could be somebody that was already familiar with those kind of concepts, or through what has taken place between you in this dynamic, this person may have started to do some research on their own and is starting to resonate with that idea. So as they are entering kind of these forums, maybe even watching tarot readings, tarot videos, or engaged or kind of observing some kind of discussions, comments that people are leaving as their stories are being shared, that it's reminding them, it's providing confirmations, it's providing kind of a sense of clarity about what they're feeling for you, things that they've experienced with you. It's helping them to kind of wrap their head around what it is that they are feeling. This is also this idea of kind of as they are interacting with or seeing people that are in sort of stable and loving commitments, people that are, even just out and about, as this person is maybe out people watching or just going about their day, and they're seeing these happy couples, they're seeing these families together, they're seeing people that are just kind of radiating this energy of being very in tune with one another, very engaged in the moment, a lot of smiles and a lot of joy, that it's reminding them of times that they've shared with you. If you're at a distance from this person, if things have gone cold, or even if this is somebody where you're kind of at a standstill with them, it's sort of stuck. Maybe there's some hesitation, some fears that have come up that are kind of preventing the two of you from taking this connection to the next level, to moving forward, to allowing that energy to flow and grow between the two of you. That there are reminders that this person is getting, these signs that this person is getting, that is urging them to kind of let these walls down, to kind of lean more into this, a yearning and a desire to move closer to that energy of joy, or to move back in the direction of the energy of joy that they have shared with you in the past. They also say, the reason you've been thinking about me is because I've been thinking about you. So you definitely could be picking up on this person's thoughts, some telepathy going on, or just sensing their energy around you. Maybe they keep popping into your head, and it's kind of, as much as you try to focus on other things, there they are. And that could be, where you maybe have gotten a little frustrated by that, trying to kind of push that away, trying to redirect the focus, think of other things. And this is really from their higher self letting you know that in real time you are picking up on that, that often when you are thinking of them, they are thinking of you in that very moment, at that 5D level, at that higher self level. You two are so in sync, you are so connected, that these thoughts that you have of them, this is not just one-sided, this is very much a two-way street, that this connection, this situation is heavily on one another's minds. This idea of community as well. You two could even be watching the same types of tarot readings, the same channels, looking for, that information or that confirmation about one another, about what each other is thinking that maybe is unspoken, or kind of the energy of where the two of you are at. If it's, a complete no contact situation, or if it's just the dynamic between the both of you, it's, there's a lot that's unspoken. There's a lot that is kind of beneath the surface, sort of this palpable energy that is just not been brought out into the light for the two of you. And if this is someone you're interacting with, even just kind of minimally at this point in time, they're thinking about the interactions that you have. They're really reflecting on things that have been said, things that have been said in the past, these seeds that have been planted within them by you, or even through the interactions between the both of you, that it's shining some light on seeds that have laid dormant within them. Kind of a new understanding of connection and of love, a way in which their perspective is changing about these things, what the desires they have, what they may have envisioned for themselves, for the future, is really, it's starting to change, it's starting to take shape, it's starting to develop into kind of a fullness and a ripeness that they are understanding was maybe missing or lacking, or that they didn't even know that they needed previously. And they also say, I'm in a karmic relationship, but we sleep in separate beds. So karmic relationships can be people, places, things, ideas. This can be friends, romance, coworkers. So whatever fits for your particular circumstance, this person is really letting you know that whatever these dynamics are, kind of this third party energy, again, people, places, and things, that at one point in time might have been kind of an excuse or a wedge or a barrier, or just something else that they were entertaining in their life, that they are evolving beyond this. Either these relationships are kind of crumbling organically, maybe there's been tension for quite some time, and almost this idea of how invigorated this person has become through this exchange with you. It's creating this motivation within them to really take a look at what they're surrounding themselves with, to really take a look at what they've been entertaining, things that might be kind of had been broken or past their expiration date, that they had just kind of kept around out of sort of a need to not want to be alone, not want to face some things within themselves, maybe out of custom or of habit, some kind of sense of obligation or duty. The more that this person is kind of becoming aware of themselves on a deeper level, they're starting to almost energetically repel things that are not in accordance with that. So they could be having, some difficulties with people in their life that is really causing them to have to rethink, is this worth the investment? Is this kind of the dynamic that I want to be my reality? Kind of this idea of friction even, or this unspoken tension, maybe even a lot of kind of passive aggressive behavior that is happening, to where it's a lot of pressure maybe in this person's domestic situation, in this person's career situation, with even friends, or different lifestyle choices, different even patterns or belief systems within themselves, that there are now they're being challenged to kind of move beyond. There is this energy of resistance with this, where whatever these things are, whatever this person has been holding on to, that it's almost slow to dislodge itself. But there is momentum happening where if this is other relationships, these two people are kind of drifting apart very organically, or have been for quite some time. There's a reality and a perspective that is coming in as far as things that are deeply incompatible with who this person is. Again, this can be relationships of a romantic nature, this can be friends, this can be things to do with a family dynamic, belief systems and perspectives they have about themselves. And there's this idea of separating, of moving away from that, kind of wishing these things well, really taking into account what resonates with them, what is the truth of who they want to become. Not limiting that in any capacity by, who they are currently, or what they have constructed for themselves, who they are involved in, or the perceptions that other people have of who they are and who they should be. But that truth of who are they really? Who do they want to be? Starting to understand their ability to, change their circumstances at any time. This can be somebody who is starting to advocate for themselves, or again, through their own volition, or even just energetically is kind of pulling away, is removing themselves, is starting to close out these cycles, break out of these karmic patterns, whether that's relationships, whether that's beliefs within themselves, things they participate in, ways in which they perceive themselves or perceive love or perceive, the nature of how connections are created and fostered and nurtured. Any of these things or all of these things can be part of this process of kind of evaluation and sifting. They also say, sometimes at night, I think about the times we've spent together. So in kind of those quiet moments, when the hustle and bustle of the day is over, they've kind of taken care of everything they need to take care of to the best of their ability, and they're left with this opportunity to just sort of think and just sort of reflect, to really, enter into that feeling space within themselves. There's again a lot of nostalgia that they are having about, interactions with you, about maybe even some perspective about a domestic situation or other things in their life that are a source of tension, and recognizing that contrast, how in your presence, in your proximity, times you spent together in the past, how this is such a different vibration than what their current reality is. How sort of what you spark and what you bring to life within them is so different from kind of the vibration that they are operating at when they are at a distance from you, or when they have removed themselves from your presence, from participating more fully into this energy with you. And so a lot of contemplation that is happening about things they need to close out in their life, things they need to move away from, what they want to move toward, things that need to shift and change within them, kind of fueled almost maybe even by, with that idea of community, ways in which they have kind of uncovered or sought information or finding resonance with even ideas of soulmates, a past life connection, kindred soul, twin flame, whatever it is that you resonate with, maybe even none of these things, just this intensity, this next level dynamic that defies explanation, that is so different from what they've experienced in the past or up to this point, that it's really setting these wheels in motion about what needs to change in their life in order to be able to kind of rise to meet this energy, what needs to change in order to become that haven within themselves, to create outside circumstances that are a fit for this kind of intense and loving vibration that they feel within them. We also have, my family looks up to me and I feel like I can't let them down. So with that reference to community, this person could, be deeply involved in some kind of a community of sorts, whether that is friends or like it says here with family, where they feel a sense of duty or obligation. This feels almost like a version of this person that people have come to know and respect and admire and trust. And there's a little bit of hesitation to kind of step beyond that. The circumstances and the dynamic of this connection, maybe even the nature of the two of you, although very complementary, you are so different. And they are drawn to you, they're compelled to you. They want to bring you, into their life. They want to make room for you. They want to have the two of you fit together in some way, or to, kind of make these changes or these accommodations to kind of bring this energy, this connection out of just this realm of wishing and dreaming out into reality. But there's a sense of hesitation about, what will this look like? How will other people receive this? Kind of a fear of judgment, but at the same time, almost this energy of wanting to protect this connection, not wanting to expose this connection to maybe some toxicity or some distortions or some low vibrations of even karmic people in their life, circumstances that they are tied to or that they are in a process of kind of moving away from. There's this element of wanting to kind of cleanse the terrain before inviting this connection in fully, recognizing almost a sacred component to this energy that is really activating some kind of a protective mechanism within this person, wanting to kind of keep this safe, to keep this unsullied, to keep this untarnished by the debris that is circulating around them. And also, this hesitation then to kind of take that step. There's this desire to, run towards you, but there's an energy of needing to be kind of methodical about that. Certain situations that need to close out or that need to culminate before they are at a place of being able to kind kind of introduce this situation more fully into their existence, and, you know, to say, this is my person, this is the person that I choose, this is who I am, this is who I've become, this is who I'm working toward. So that, you know, the kind of this idea of the people that mind don't matter, and the people that matter don't mind. This, you know, wanting to really sift through that, kind of get rid of, move away from circumstances that were maybe only supportive of a version of this person, things that no longer resonate with them. But it's kind of a delicate process as well, going through that. Okay, and we have I struggle with addiction. So this could be literally somebody who is in recovery, who has had even a tendency to kind of be addicted to love in the past, maybe some codependent tendencies within this person that they have been working to kind of free themselves from. Also with that idea of karmic relationships, something that is really coming to this person's awareness that what they may have been involving themselves in was almost this, you know, addiction to sadness. It was this addiction to pain and disappointment. It's bringing this idea of sort of this person really understanding that what they may have been settling for, contenting themselves with, is really kind of reflective of some element of themselves that they were feeling they weren't worthy and deserving of healthy and reciprocal love. And so therefore magnetizing in circumstances and people that were a reflection of that. Person not really valuing themselves, and thereby kind of bringing in individuals or experiences or circumstances in which they also were not valued. Kind of this idea of the self-fulfilling prophecy, kind of this addiction maybe also to people pleasing. Again, that energy of kind of codependency that this person is really needing to break away from. This idea of kind of self-liberating, taking back their power, freeing themselves from the chains of bondage that they have been in to some degree, whether that's, you know, outdated relationships or relationships that are more toxic than they are nurturing, freeing themselves from belief systems that where whatever their stage their life is in, whatever they have created for themselves, that this is all there is, kind of eating crumbs and trying to convince themselves that it is nourishment, and starting to really understand and recognize how they have been kind of starving this whole time. They've been deprived this whole time, or depriving themselves this whole time. This idea of wanting to move beyond that, maybe learning to, you know, even let this connection, let love in, moving beyond this fear of being swallowed up into another codependent cycle. Maybe they have struggled with that. This person could be an empath and could have been involved in the past with a lot of narcissistic individuals, and it has taken a lot of work to extricate themselves from that pattern, or to recognize that tendency within themselves. And so some hesitation to open their heart up to love, to open their heart up to this connection fully, you know, kind of keeping that distance, or sort of pulling themselves away. As much as they are affected by this and are wanting this and are desiring this, there is that element of fear of not being entirely confident that, you know, this time around sort of the circumstances will be different, kind of being challenged to recognize within themselves the work and the growth that they have done, entering into that mindset of recognizing their worthiness and their birthright almost to experience healthy and reciprocal love, learning to kind of divorce themselves from the idea that, you know, the past does not need to dictate the future, that changes they've made within themselves, or that they're being called to change, do have a direct impact on what they will experience and what they will call into their life in the future. And we also have thoughts of you haunt me as I fall asleep. So there's that second time with that energy, that nocturnal energy here, in this quiet time, in these quiet moments. This person could definitely be thinking about you, connecting to you, feeling you at night. looking up at the moon, and depending on, wherever you two are in the world, however far away you are from each other, feeling very connected to you. That it's it might be kind of different constellations in the sky, or different, time zones, or different geography, but it's that same moon that the two of you are staring at. This idea with the moon also of, again, cycles that they are recognizing that they are needing, that it is time, or it's past. They are past due from moving beyond these things. And so you could also be dreaming about each other a lot, kind of meeting in that astral realm, in that liminal space, to exchange that kind of unencumbered loving energy with one another, to exchange that healing from that place beyond ego, from that place beyond, all these other interfering circumstances, externally or internally within both of your lives. And this person really looking at that as an oasis, somebody who, when they dream of you, and they wake up then the next day, it almost it helps them get through their day. This idea of dreaming, this can also be daydreams, and again ties in with that energy of the reason you're thinking about them is because they're thinking about you. They're thinking about you during the day. They're thinking about you at night. They can't get you off their mind. This may be a little bit sort of alarming for this person, or it's kind of bringing up some need to kind of try to pull themselves back. Again, struggles with addiction, maybe not wanting to be codependent on this, not wanting to come across to you as too clingy or too overwhelming as well, not wanting to come across as too intense, and trying to find kind of that happy medium between just allowing this energy of love to flow as it will between the both of you, and trusting that, to open their heart to give into this, to be carried by this current that doesn't need to equate drowning in this love as they may have done in connections in the past. And we also have, I'm sorry for not appreciating you more. So in any kind of distance or separation, there is this longing to move back in your direction. A lot of nostalgia here. Somebody who, wishes that they had taken the time to really appreciate the moments that you had shared together in a more precise way. Somebody who may also be looking at some missed opportunities. Maybe you had offered your cup of love to somebody at a certain point, and they had kind of chosen to present as being very oblivious to that. There may have been a little bit of rejection involved with that, or some kind of barrier, some fear that kind of was triggered or that came up. And this person really reflecting about that a lot, feeling some regret for having not taken a chance when they had that opportunity, and for not really taking the time to tell you and to show you that gratitude and appreciation for just how rich of a presence that you are to them, how nourishing your energy is to them, in contrast to whatever else is or is not in their life currently, reflecting even on other dynamics, other romantic situations, and how they felt in these circumstances, what that exchange was like, how conscientious and caring and cognizant these other people were of even subtleties, changes, shifts within this person's mood and emotions. Where again, maybe this idea of empathy, the two of you could be very empathic, really able to sense one another, feel one another, be able to perceive when maybe kind of distance is needed versus kind of that need for that infusion of love. This could be so different from what they are used to, with other people just being largely oblivious to their feelings, not able to really perceive on sort of the energy that is beyond what is being said or what is not being said. And they're starting to appreciate this more, how even just however brief your interactions have been, there's a sense of this person recognizing that you care for them on a level that even people that have maybe known them their whole lives have not been capable of showing, or have not reached or have not achieved with them. And they also say, you are my Two of Cups. So again, that energy of soulmate or twin soul, twin flame, past life connection, kindred spirit, whatever you resonate with, this person recognizes you as their person. You are the one that they want to be with. As much as there might be excuses or obstacles in place or ways in which they have tried to kind of talk themselves out of what they are feeling for you, there's this undeniable truth that they have at the end of the day, that the two of you are just made for one another. You fit so inexplicably well together. There's a sense of expansiveness and also calm to this energy that is unlike what they have experienced with other people. In some way, you know, they feel that if anywhere their heart is safe, it is safe with you. They want to become that safe space as well, for you to open up fully, for you to, you know, give your cup of love without shame and without hesitation. Where they may have hesitated receiving that in the past, there is regret about that. They want to come to this place within themselves where they are open to receive the love that you have to give. And again, this idea of soulmates, twin flame, twin soul, past life person, kindred spirit, whatever you resonate with, maybe none of those things that you resonate with. This kind of ties into research maybe that this person is doing. You could even be, again, kind of watching the same tarot readings, getting confirmation from kind of the same sources or the same series of community, the same idea about that. This is somebody who's definitely looked into this, who is scratching beneath the surface, who is not just saying, oh, that was an intense connection, and then moving on with their day. It's something they're thinking about very heavily, trying to kind of put these pieces together, trying to kind of solve the mystery of why they are so affected by you, why they are so drawn to you, why they are so invigorated by you, why they're so challenged by you, why through all of this, and as much as, you know, maybe on the surface or in relation to what you both have going on in your lives, that, you know, this doesn't make any sense. Maybe this just happened very suddenly, very unexpectedly, or, you know, there seems to be a lot kind of standing in the way, kind of these obstacles that must be overcome, this very this work that must be done internally in order to really prepare oneself, for the both of you to prepare each other to receive that cup of love in the fullest capacity from one another. And despite all of this, you know, where in an ordinary circumstance somebody might say, well, that's just too much, that I forget it, I'm not gonna, this is not worth it, this is not worth the effort, and would be able to then, you know, kind of move forward or sort of put that away, close the door on that, and just continue on, that it keeps coming back around to this. It's something that, you know, through that kind of vacillation of fear and being very allured, that this person, as much as they're kind of, you know, propelling away, they're being pulled back. The more that they run, it's just a deeper intensity of kind of being drawn back into this, drawn back into the truth of what they are feeling for you, and ultimately truth about themselves, and kind of taking that wider scope, that wider vantage point of what's in their life, what needs to change and shift, what's ready to leave, and what's ready to really be born within them and within their circumstances. And we also have, I am creatively influenced by you. So again, that kind of alchemical energy between the both of you. This could have really inspired this person artistically to, you know, maybe some kind of form of art, music, visual arts, writing, any number of things that there's so many feelings that they have for you that are hard to put to words, and so they may be kind of deferring to other methods of sort of trying to channel this energy into something. You could have really helped this person, you know, operating almost as a muse for other creative endeavors that they have, or creatively coming up with solutions to maybe situations that have been kind of thorny in their life, or things that have been kind of burdensome to them, circumstances or even people that have been kind of dragging them down, have been kind of weighing them down, that they had just entered into this complacency of this is just how it is, being grateful for what they have, and trying not to get too lost in this energy of like a dreaminess, or you know, seeking to kind of escape their circumstances. But in some way there's this influx of energy to where you know, their circumstances are not feeling so dire. It is not feeling so just kind of set in stone. It is not feeling, these are not feeling like insurmountable odds. This person being very inspired to change their life, and to change it for the better and for themselves first and foremost. Okay, and we have, I've been hurt by love before. So that was definitely coming up. This person maybe, again, this could be an empath who had a tendency to kind of attract narcissistic partners, or just somebody who has sustained kind of a series or a significant heartbreak in the past that has caused them to kind of close down to the idea of love. Somebody who may have really just as a self kind of protective mechanism, not wanting to, enter into a circumstance where they would be shattered once again, has kind of chosen maybe these kind of more superficial connections, things that are not as challenging, things that are a little more karmic in nature. This can also go on the flip side of that, where there's a lot of hurt and pain within themselves, and they have therefore kind of gravitated toward or attracted people that confirm that. That sense of brokenness within them, that sense of being, difficult to love, kind of creating and magnetizing in difficult circumstances that mirror that difficulty that is occurring inside of them. And we also have, I've been having dreams of you. So again, that nocturnal energy, meeting in the dream space, in the liminal space, kind of beyond the gatekeepers of the ego and whatever circumstances are keeping you two at a distance currently, or keeping this person from really stepping to that truth, expressing more of that authenticity to you. This feels like somebody that, again, dreaming about you at night, daydreaming about a future with you, what this could look like, what needs to change, what needs to shift. This feels like something as well that when they are connecting with you in dreams, it again kind of uplifts them. It gives them that power to just kind of move through their day, push through these obstacles, push through that urge to just kind of collapse and give up, give in to apathy. This is somebody who is, starting to even kind of resurrect maybe some creative dreams that they have had. Somebody who's picking up a creative medium for the first time in a while, or in a new capacity that in some way you are a muse for this person, or just the energetic exchange between the both of you. It's really coming through in whatever they are producing artistically, and they're recognizing that. They're recognizing the signature of your energy in whatever it is that they do creatively. And it's something where, they're almost seeing this as kind of infusing their sort of innate abilities in a very beautiful and profound way. They're very inspired by this connection, by this dynamic between the both of you also, that again can be translating into some kind of an energy of a muse, some kind of a creative endeavor. Maybe something this person does with music, or with visual arts like painting, for example, or drawing, sculpture, any number of things where, even if you are not directly the subject matter of that, the dynamic, this feeling of love that they have tapped into and accessed and are experiencing with you, it's coming through in that holy fire of love is coming through in whatever it is that they are producing, even just in how they are, as a living work of art, as the greatest work of art one can ever seek to endeavor is the work on oneself. And this person really taking a more proactive approach to that, recognizing themselves as the greatest project that they will ever work on, and kind of fueled and motivated by this desire to move closer to you, move back into proximity to you, or to continue to evolve with this connection as the two of you evolve individually. Any number of things that in some way is kind of influenced or saturated with this energy of the dynamic between the two of you. And we also have, I reminisce a lot on the time spent with you. So again, that idea of nostalgia, thinking about this, dreaming about this, daydreaming about this. A lot of telepathy could be going on. You could be really feeling this person energetically, very intensely at this time, kind of ever present with you. And, when you're feeling them, to just in that moment send them love, understand, try to move beyond the logical tendency to just kind of question or to dismiss, to make you think it's all in your head, to which, with telepathy, it kind of is all in your head. It's occurring remotely. It's not, something that's necessarily a 3D communication. It's kind of on that higher plane that kind of the logical mind or the third eye is able to then be that receiver and that kind of receptacle, that communication device. But anyway, it's something to where, in those moments, to really just acknowledge that within yourself. It's almost like energetic kisses being sent from afar between the both of you. And, you know, this person just thinking about you, thinking about this so much, not being happy with where they've left things or where things are at currently, wanting to evolve that beyond this stage in some capacity and for the long term. That in those moments when you feel that person very intensely, you know, to just lean into that, honor that, you know, respect that, love that, appreciate that. As all these other things need to change within this person and things that need to change within both of your lives. You know, it's a point of gratitude that you two have this ability to communicate with each other so clearly and so palpably on an energetic level. And so it's something to not, you know, necessarily try to push away or to question, but to, you know, embrace them in those moments where you feel them energetically. Send them that love, send them that encouragement, receive the love and encouragement that they have to offer you at those moments. And then the two of you really being creatively influenced by each other to make these changes within your life, to, you know, work toward bringing some dreams that you have individually out into reality. And through this connection, stepping into that best version of self, really empowering yourself in your own life for yourself first and foremost, can then help the two of you kind of elevate to that next timeline or that next level where you're able to then intersect at a place of kind of greater self-awareness, self-acceptance, and wholeness. And we also have, I'm severing ties with the karmic partner. So another confirmation of that with a karmic relationship. This can be a romantic connection. This can be friends, family, coworkers. This can be belief systems. This can be, you know, lifestyle choices, any number of things. This person is really, they're recognizing that whatever these things are may have resonated with who they were at a certain point in time. These could have also been sort of escape mechanisms, escape hatches that they kind of gravitated toward in order to avoid some kind of pain or loneliness or things that needed to be healed within them. But in some way they are being invigorated. They are being infused with the courage to kind of let these things go, to move away from these things, to allow these things to fall away from their life, or to remove these things from their life, to take a more assertive approach, to not just be passive and allow these things to, you know, maybe continue on past an expiration date. Really advocating for themselves and, you know, kind of choosing themselves, choosing their own well-being over even kind of the expectations or this sense of obligation that they have to kind of the role that they have filled with other people. You know, meeting their responsibilities, but at the same time moving out of this energy of just allowing themselves to be kind of a pawn to other people's emotions and other people's needs and desires and perceptions. In some ways speaking their own truth and their own autonomy, which it feels like in a lot of ways is just kind of naturally causing these things, maybe karmic relationships even, to just kind of fizzle. The more this person steps into their truth, is infused by this connection, inspired by this connection to really spark and stoke that fire within themselves, that light, that intensity. It's almost sort of casting this shadowy or this dense or this distorted or toxic energy. It's casting that out. It's rebuking that from this person's life, very innately and very organically, although with some situations and with some people, this is this process of this person stepping into that place of, you know, really kind of advocating that, you know, something isn't working anymore, something isn't resonating with them anymore. They don't want to do this anymore. This tension or this circumstance, you know, whatever it is, however good or fulfilling or comfortable it might have been at some point in time, that this is not who they are. This is not what they want anymore. This is not what they want going forward. And so coupled with that could be a lot of tension, even in domestic situations that they're involved in, or again, just tension as something that was part of their life is, or maybe many things that were part of their life is kind of falling away, and this resistance this resistance that whatever these factors or people have to this evolution taking place within this person, that there could be a lot of tension, a lot of friction, a lot of fights going on. And so with this energy of nostalgia and kind of dreams and that nocturnal energy of thinking about you, thinking about this connection, it's almost like this person is kind of coming to this oasis. They're needing this. They're needing this nourishment of love from you, even just energetically at a distance, to kind of be that empowerment to continue to push through these barriers. It's a sense of this person being so drained by this energy of conflict or things that they're trying to dislodge themselves from, that they just have a very tight grip and are very difficult to kind of move beyond or extricate for themselves. That, it expends a lot of their energy. It takes a lot of that emotional energy, that psychic energy, maybe even physical energy, to just kind of set other wheels in motion or close some cycles out in their life. And so you might be feeling this person a lot again as they are coming to you as that safe space, that haven, that sweetness that is such a contrast to the sour that is going on in their life currently. And they also say, you really are the best thing that has ever happened to me. So this connection could have taken this person by surprise, could have taken you by surprise, kind of shaken things up in the most wonderful way, as much as there is turmoil happening for them and things that are starting to fall away, starting to fall apart. There is a sense here, even if some kind of an ego death is going on that is kind of coupled with these tower moments within their physical reality, that all of this change and this turmoil and this pressure, it's giving way to this yield of sweetness and possibility, of connection and peace that they have never experienced before. It's almost like this dynamic has been the key to something they have been wanting to unlock within themselves for quite some time, but just have not been capable of. It has not been the time for it. As they're reflecting upon this, it's kind of their idea of love is being widened. This person really having been cracked open in a certain way, facing some of the ways in which the fortress they may have built around their heart that involved kind of things that were even of a kind of a lower vibration or a toxic vibration, that kind of were that self-fulfilling prophecy. It kind of affirmed this these belief systems maybe of not being worthy or deserving of love, feelings of being flawed or broken, or somebody who may have considered themselves or had been made to believe that they were hard to love. That there's something wrong with the way they wanted to love, that they had, too much love to give, or that it was being poured into cups that weren't worthy or deserving of receiving it previously. And this person starting to really recognize their value, really recognizing their worth, starting to heal some kind of wounds of perception, and recognizing those as kind of projections that other people had been putting upon them. Somebody who, through maybe interactions that the two of you have had, or even just the energetic exchange between the both of you, is starting to recognize this wholeness, this fullness. Somebody who may have considered themselves broken is now starting to understand that they do possess the ability within themselves, and a mechanism has been activated. This self-healing, this putting the pieces back together again, kind of infusing that with these veins of love, stitching themselves together slowly but surely, reimagining themselves, reimagining how they want to show up in the world, taking steps, or even just energetically kind of repelling, moving away from things that are representative of a limited version of them, things that are past their expiration date or are not in alignment with who they want to become. Okay, and we both know I'm not the one for you. So this really feels like what they might be telling a karmic partner in their life, or some kind of other circumstance that they have going on. This idea of, really having some very concrete discussions with people that things might have been resonating for both individuals. They could have really been operating out of this space of kind of wounding, kind of feeding these triggers, mirrors of those shadow aspects within one another, kind of this idea of trauma bonding almost with other people. And the more that this person is really stepping into that light, being infused by this connection, even energetically and from a distance, it's helping them to, kind of put themselves back together and to set some boundaries, to speak some truths, to, really address the elephant in the room that has been there for quite some time, and maybe these, tense connections, whether that's romance or even, friends that they were keeping, ways in which they were showing up, a version of themselves that they had been presenting to the world. And this is that energy of somebody who is starting to advocate for themselves, starting to present more of their true face, a face that they have hidden for quite some time. And as they are doing that, it's something which it feels very organically as kind of repelling that which is not intended for them to move forward with them into the future. And it's also something which is helping to reveal other people's true colors. That the more this person is stepping into that high vibration, and the more that is being perceived as a threat or very triggering to others, it is helping this person to kind of peel back those layers and to see these individuals for who they are and kind of the role that they represented at a certain point in this person's life. Again, this kind of idea of trauma bonding, or these people being a reflection of almost kind of a more dim or shadowy, a lower vibrational version of this person, being very reflective of this person's own kind of wounds within themselves, or perceptions of deficiency within themselves. And now that they are stepping into that place of wholeness, these things are no longer resonating. This is no longer the reflection that they want to see sitting across from them at the table, or this is no longer what they want to kind of wake up to. This is no longer what they want to surround themselves with. This is no longer what they want to spend their time with or invest their time in. This is something, again, people, belief systems. This can be ideas within themselves even, that these are no longer serving their highest good. And we also have, it was my fault, but I blamed you. So this person, out of kind of a self-protective mechanism, might have just kind of pushed you away. In some way, the kind of the light that you were bringing up within this person that was really being called forth by the light that you were innately shining from within yourself. Again, this idea of, as that light shines, it triggers the shadows. And so that doesn't only just apply to, things in this person's outside circumstances or outside world. This applies to things within them. And they're starting to really, through that energy of nostalgia and reflection, they are really understanding that, they pushed away the best thing that happened to them. They pushed away this love. They pushed away this very nurturing energy. And that by doing that, they essentially then continued to go around in another cycle with maybe things that are an embodiment of less than love, that are an embodiment of a distortion of love, or kind of an illusion of love, that in some way sort of erode this person's ability to kind of love and accept themselves fully. And so any sort of excuses that they may have been making that, you were too incompatible to work, or the deep level of compatibility that they were sensing, maybe that was too good to be true. This feels like somebody who is almost looking for the bottom to drop out, maybe stemming from all these heartbreaks they've had in the past, or a significant heartbreak, not wanting to open themselves up to love, only to be kind of crushed and disappointed once more. And we also have, I couldn't let you get close to me. So again, the self-protective mechanism. A lot of disappointment that this person has had in their life or in love, and it has just felt safer to kind of keep you at a distance, keep that guard up. But it's something that nevertheless, as much as they have tried to kind of pull themselves away or push this connection away, the effect has nonetheless it has taken place. The two of you have become cognizant of each other in a very direct manner. Kind of this energetic connection, this 5D connection, has now been made manifest to whatever degree in the 3D plane. There's been something that is activated. It's something which there is no running from. It's a mechanism, it's a process which has been set in order. It's something that this person is really doing, research or coming to some greater awareness, some greater resonance of what this is, what this means, how these changes that are taking place within them and that they're being called to do in their outside world, how these are changes that are calling them to step into that best version of self, to step closer to love and away from fear. And so really starting to take responsibility for that, really starting to recognize how they themselves have been operating out of this energy of distortion, and have become accustomed and comfortable with circumstances that mirror that distortion. But now having tasted that love, having kind of touched on or gotten that peek at something different, something else, something more. It's almost like it's no longer satisfying whatever it was that they were sustaining themselves on, or kind of this idea of eating breadcrumbs and trying to convince themselves that it was nourishment, but all the while they've been starving. And we have, you were the best thing in my life. So again, another confirmation of that with you really are the best thing that ever happened to me. Through these changes that are happening, as uncomfortable with this as this person is so grateful to have encountered you. It's almost like this part of themselves, this piece of themselves that they'd been yearning, almost this vacancy within themselves that they may have been trying to fill with other things, with addictions, with karmic relationships, with even belief systems that somehow they were flawed, they were unworthy. There's a hole inside of them that they're starting to recognize how it is this wholeness, it's this aspect of themselves, almost like the dark side of the moon, that they've not been able to access or touch or recognize before. But that in some way, through connecting with your energy, they are now able to see on that other side. They are able to see themselves in a more whole perspective. They are able to recognize and feel that wholeness within them that they had convinced themselves was maybe lacking the whole time. And it's this gift of perspective that is really, it's something that they feel very grateful for. They feel that, this is a blessing, and as difficult as this process they are currently in is, of kind of shaking things up, moving things away, clearing things away, having kind of people exit their life or circumstances, or kind of in this space of that ego death, things crumble, and it's kind of this vacuum until the newness kind of comes in. As uncomfortable as that can be at times. They're so grateful for having encountered you in this lifetime and having really touched upon kind of that energy of love, that face of love in a very authentic, pure and true manner. And we also have, I'm starting to understand our connection. So that can again be that energy of research they've been doing, things that they are starting to resonate with in terms of even twin flames, soulmates, twin souls, kindred spirits, past life soulmates, just whatever it is that you resonate with. And if this is not part of their lexicon, if this is not kind of one of those rabbit holes that they have dived into at this point or yet, it's still in that energy of reflection. They don't have titles to put to that, or definitions or theories or schools of thought to associate with that, other people's opinions to provide them with that confirmation. It's something where the more they're digging in kind of these quiet moments, they're starting to decipher the truth of this based on how it feels compared to how love has felt, or what has called itself love has felt to them before. They're starting to understand that contrast between what they feel, what this elicits within them, what this inspires within them, what this sparks within them, compared to what other connections currently are in the past, what that generated within them. It's almost that this is kind of a creative energy, whereas they may have been used to kind of romantic connections or dynamics in other capacities as very destructive energy. Okay, and they say, you are my best friend. So again, this kindred spirit bond that they feel with you. this deep familiarity, this deep intimacy, a sense that they could really truly be themselves and be loved and accepted for exactly who they are. An intimacy that they share with you that no matter how long you've known each other or where the relationship stands currently, they feel closer to you in a sense than they have experienced with anybody else. It's this intimacy, it's this trust, it's this sense of knowing that is unmatched by anything else in their life and anything they have experienced previously. And it's also this energy of not just having this, this desire and attraction, but this love on multiple levels for you that is really causing them to want to dissect this energy, this connection. It's causing them to think a lot about this. It's giving them some perspective. It's a point of contrast that is helping them to see kind of their perceptions and other people and circumstances from sort of a fresh eyes or from that different vantage point. And we have negative thoughts get us no results. So this person could have kind of been in this energy of pessimism, maybe kind of jaded toward love, closed off to love, up to this point that had really then magnetized in sort of less than loving circumstances or people that kind of reinforce that idea within this person that they are somehow flawed or unworthy of love, or love sucks, or love only hurts, or love is kind of a negative thing. Love's an illusion. Love is just a chemical reaction. Love is just a fairy tale. Any of these kind of narratives or distortions, misperceptions of the force of love, that this person, in having touched on this connection with you, is really in this process of kind of abolishing that pessimism. This is somebody who kind of is in this state of being humbled, but in a very positive way, starting to recognize how, and moving out of that energy of self-blame, that starting to understand that whatever ideas they had developed about love and connection and partnership, how this is really stemmed as kind of an armor they have had to develop within themselves and around themselves as a result of some deep heartbreaks. Again, this could be a very empathic person, and they've had to kind of create this shell or this wall around themselves to kind of preserve the integrity of what dwells within them. And they are starting to understand how, that projection of being very unbothered, the projection of, being very not looking for love, just looking for something easy, something else, not wanting to open themselves up to get hurt in love again, or even for the first time, if this is somebody who has never fully opened up to that. They're starting to understand how thoughts become things, and kind of this negative perception has helped to magnetize in for themselves self-fulfilling prophecies, negative experiences that in some way mirror kind of what's going on in that internal landscape. So this connection helping them to really look kind of on a brighter side of things, look with a little more optimism and a little more hope, not looking at their circumstances or their life as entirely hopeless, or at themselves as kind of a lost cause or sort of beyond repair, something that must just be kind of tolerated and understood on such a deep level so as to anticipate any kind of deviations or acting out or anything completely out of control, or to kind of keep the less than desirable aspects of themselves kind of tucked away in a cupboard. That this is somebody who is starting to really sort of appreciate themselves on a fullness, on a new kind of level, and is starting to sort of again kind of move beyond that density, that distortion, into an energy of self-acceptance and recognizing that they are exquisite and they are worthy and deserving of healthy and reciprocal love, flaws and all. And they also say, I'm trying to get my stuff together. So again, karmic cycles that are being closed out for this person, things that are falling away, this person really trying to move beyond belief systems or things that they really have kind of surrounded themselves with. There's a sense of a lot of things past their expiration point, or, you know, even as this person is growing, they are growing beyond things that may have been comfortable or may have served or resonated with who they were. This is somebody in an evolutionary process who is putting a lot of thought into this, into the feelings that they have, into what's changing and what is shifting, who's not just content to let these thoughts kind of roll around inside, but this is somebody who's starting to take some definitive action, even just in being assertive and speaking their truth, to kind of bring these changes and these revelations that they have within out into their material world. And we also have, I feel your love around me constantly. So again, that very mirrored energy of feeling this loving presence. As much as you're feeling them around you, you're thinking about them. They're thinking about you. This is very much, it feels very real time as well. Not just a passing thought that you're picking up on later, but you're almost, again, in real time, very much connected with this person. And they're very grateful for this. As much as things are shaking up and kind of falling away in their life, this energy they feel from you, it's very nourishing. It's a balm. It is helping them. It's helping to energize them, to recharge them, to give them that confidence and that stamina to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep growing out of their comfort zone, to keep growing out of this kind of dark place that they have stuffed themselves into, to recognize their, you know, worthiness to stand in the light, to show that authentic self, that vulnerable side of themselves, recognizing the strength in that vulnerability as well. And we also have you never leave my thoughts. So again, a lot of telepathy, the two of you really on each other's minds. As much as there might be silence or distance, this person is really giving a lot of thought to this. You've made a huge impact on them. You continue to have a very positive influence on them, whether you're in communication or not. This is something that the two of you are really helping to kind of move each other into the next phase of your reality and your understanding of yourself as a soul in this lifetime. So a lot of growth and transformation, a lot of difficulties and turbulence that the two of you, and it feels like especially this person, might be going through. But there's a sense too of being very grateful for that, that the difficulties that are occurring, it's also matched by kind of this deep intensity of these very positive vibrations, this very loving vibration that is helping motivate this person to try and find a way out of this labyrinth that they have built around themselves, or that their life is now being recognized as, that they are kind of wanting to move beyond. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 2, this could be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. I've got A, V, N, C, O, M, T, K, and W. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose this Lapis Lazuli with the flower of life. So let's see, what does this person want you to know from their higher self if they could say anything? Okay, and they say, I was ready to give us a chance for real this time, but then something happened. So this person could have just been held back by fear consistently or recently. Somebody who was ready to kind of step out of the shadows, come out of a no contact situation, and maybe kind of at the last minute got some cold feet. This could have also been something where other circumstances in their life, kind of unpredictable things really came up, kind of derailed their plans, have really called their attention elsewhere. This could have been something where something deeply triggering happened for this person in some other area of their life that really was a blow to their confidence. To where the momentum was there. They were ready to, take a chance, to step forward, to even move this connection to the next level if this is someone you're currently in contact with. But in some way, their self-esteem was eroded. In some way, doubt kind of crept in. It's almost this idea of, being on the high dive in a swimming pool and getting ready to, take that plunge, and then somebody kind of whispers from behind them, "Shark," and they get really afraid and kind of pull back, a little uncertain, a little bit hesitant. And so kind of in tandem with that, they, now are kind of in this energy of regret, of feeling a missed opportunity, seeing that there was a window of opportunity and something startled them, fear took over. They allowed themselves to slip back into that energy of doubt, and had kind of, again, this idea of missing an opportunity, feeling now that, the wondering if the circumstances will be ripe for that again, recognizing maybe the hurt and the disappointment that continues within you, or that could have even been felt by that buildup, by that momentum to that crossroads point, and then whatever choice this person made to, not act or to pull back instead of moving forward, and kind of how that then impacted the energy between the both of you, feeling that tangible, almost let down, as you were again able to sense energetically that something was going to happen. The momentum was building, that things were going really well, only to kind of been thrown off course, or to yourself then move into that energy of doubt and questioning of, maybe if what you were feeling, should you be trusting your intuition, or what's really going on, or kind of a skepticism of maybe something more than meets the eye, an energy of, maybe this person even fearing that your trust in them had been kind of eroded by something, or a sense that they've taken long enough to create some kind of action of change to move this connection forward in some capacity. And so again, in this energy of really blaming and being very hard on themselves for not being courageous in that moment, kind of a broken record within them of maybe the ways in which they have failed to act in the past, failed to act on opportunities, failed to seize opportunities, failed to speak their truth, to speak their heart. This person becoming aware of some kind of a pattern or a cycle within themselves of hesitation and self-doubt, recognizing how they almost have had a tendency to get in their own way in a lot of aspects of their life. So deeply triggered by this, but at the same time, kind of on this path now of needing to heal these things, trying to come into that space of hope that, another chance can be created further down the road, or to, take these feelings and not just allow this to continue to be this pattern or cycle within this dynamic or within their life in general, but to really use this as a stepping stone to kind of break out of that pattern, break out of that habit, be more courageous, more assertive, speak their truth in other ways in their life, to kind of generate that momentum and that trajectory to reach that intersection with you again in this connection, to where when that window of opportunity presents itself, when that door opens, this person is able to then step through. And they also say, the life I'm living is not going how I imagined. So they could be very discontent with their surroundings. Something about this connection really having sparked them to the idea of something more, the possibility of something more, a sense of invigoration that they experience with you that is such a contrast to almost a stark reality that they find themselves in now. There's a sense of having touched on your energy or the times that you've spent together. It makes it more difficult for them to kind of convince themselves that they are satisfied with whatever they have going on in their life. There's a sense of evolution, a sense of this person almost having been liberated from some kind of a narrative that they were telling themselves, some things they were trying to convince themselves that, you know, their life was great, they're living their best life, things are just how they want them to be. But the whole time there's been this lack, this void within this person, this yearning within this person for deep connection, intimacy, and love on a level that is beyond whatever they have experienced previously or have going on in their life currently. And so again, kind of this feeling of disappointment, this missed opportunity that is, it's gravelly, it's grating on this person currently, but it's that necessary friction for them to take some assertive action, to make a plan and make changes in small steps that culminate then into leaps and bounds in the future. And we also have I'm broken inside. So this can be that element of fear that had really kind of creeped up at the last moment, that little whisper within them that caused that, just that slight little grain of doubt that set everything off course. This person's starting to, really seek to pick that apart. Somebody who it feels like is very frustrated about that, very kind of disappointed in themselves. But although they may have kind of been accustomed to being very disappointed in themselves throughout their life up to this point, there's something about this circumstance with you, what has happened, what is currently taking place, the way the dynamic stands between the both of you, this constancy of your energetic bond, that they are for the first time starting to recognize that these broken pieces can be repaired. It's almost this idea of like kintsugi, the method with Japanese pottery of taking the broken shards and kind of repairing them, infusing those cracks with gold, with the idea that in these broken aspects, the piece, the art becomes stronger. It becomes reinforced in a way that it would not have been had this kind of damage or disruption occurred. And so this is somebody who is starting to get some new perspective on what has taken place in their life, kind of their patterns and their habits, self-defeating thoughts, or even some self-esteem issues up to this point, how they've kind of maybe consistently or in a lot of ways self-sabotaged, or that this is just a tendency within them when they reach the proximity of something that can be very life-altering in a positive way, and how they've allowed kind of these hooks of fear to sort of pull them back, keep them from taking a chance. Somebody who may have, kind of a lot of regrets or things that, as much as they may have tried to just kind of dismiss these things and kind of remain aloof, they've nonetheless remained inside of them, kind of this collection of disappointments, all these broken pieces rattling around within this person, that this circumstance is almost just yet another one of those things, something that, is very tangible, very positive, that they're almost feeling that they've mishandled it. They were clumsy with this. They were clumsy with your heart. They've broken your heart, and by consequence have kind of broken theirs, further broken theirs, or in a new and profound level, they're feeling that brokenness within. This is somebody who it feels like, is again kind of through this very unique bond that you share, whereas situations in the past, it might have just been, yet another in kind of a collection of regrets that they have. With this circumstance, this is something where they're starting to see a way out. They're starting to recognize that this can change, that this is an opportunity for change. They're starting to feel ready for that. It almost feels very necessary that whatever fear kind of pulled them back from the edge of taking things further, taking this another step further or leaning further into this connection. It was very necessary. They brought something with them. As much as they've touched on, the proximity to you and your energy, and they've kind of gone back in their shell into their comfort zone, a part of you has come with them. This very healing energy that these broken pieces are starting to be repaired within them. They're starting to come into this sense of wholeness, moving out of this energy of hopefulness into hopefulness. And we also have, I need my space right now. So again, somebody who's really feeling disappointed in themselves and is needing to just kind of ruminate. They need this time. They need this kind of element of disappointment in order to be that friction, that fuel, that motivation to do something better, to change, to not just sit with this, to not just let this grand regret just be another in a collection. It's almost like the wake-up call that this person has needed. And within that space, that necessity of space, there's repair work that they need to do within themselves in order to be able to come back to you at a future point in a state of wholeness. Wholeness that is not dependent on how things work out with you. Wholeness that is not dependent on, the approval of anybody else. This could be somebody who maybe had some codependent tendencies where sort of their moods shift based on how others are receiving them, or in some way they really were kind of measuring their own value by the worth that they provided to other people. Somebody who had never really learned to know or to trust in their own innate value just as they are, not for what they could provide, not for the role that they serve, not for who they are in relation to other people, but just innately as they are, without doing anything at all, their innate perfection, and harnessing that and applying that to create a life that is exciting for them, a life that is worth living, moving out of just this energy of getting by to actually recognizing that they are worthy and deserving of fulfillment, of being excited every day when they get up, not just going through the motions or through the routine or this mundane existence, but somebody who is starting to recognize that they are worthy and deserving of kind of the love that they had always dreamed of in another person and within themselves. And so within this space, within this quiet time, within this period of reflection, as they're moving through that very necessary process of disappointment, through that is also this infusion, this self-healing, the pieces being put back together. And we also have, you are so easy to talk to. So this connection could be quite a contrast from dynamics that they've had romantically with other people in the past, other people currently, even friendships or ways in which they've related to family. There's an ease between the two of you. There's a sense of acceptance between the two of you. There's a part of this person, an invigorated part of this person that maybe comes to life or comes back to life that had been dormant for quite some time. There's a sense of being very supported, being very honored, being very understood, even through this energy of, as heartbreaking as that might have been, whatever this missed opportunity was, this person is still feeling a very loving vibration emanating from you, a sense of allowing them that space, not taking that, entirely personally, not using that against this person or making them feel bad, or kind of projecting onto them this heartbreak and disappointment. This feels like something where they're deeply appreciating that, how much you are honoring that, how much you are honoring what has been said, what has been not said, and are processing that kind of on your own, in your own way, seeking to put your broken pieces back together, or to recognize your innate wholeness that is kind of colored by the contrast of things that go your way sometimes and things that don't go your way, but kind of that energy of continuing to get back up and to move and to continue to progress forward and develop through all these experiences. There's a lot of wisdom that this person also gets from you, even just vibrationally. If you are, talking to this person, maybe face to face, you're talking over the phone, even if you're, just typing with this person, some way, the words that you share, or even just the way that you energetically connect with one another in those periods of time, there's something again in that this person takes with them. It's a healing, it's a medicine that they take with them, that, as they are reflecting reflecting then upon the time spent, or as this energy or these words have time to gestate within them. It helps to kind of spring forth and to develop kind of a new map going forward of how they can kind of move beyond this complacency and this sense of brokenness into recognizing, revealing, and embodying that innate wholeness within them. Okay, and they say there are so many conversations we've yet to have. So this is that idea of something that they have held back on, some kind of truth, a missed opportunity that they are really regretting not having continued to lean into the direction they were being pulled in this connection. Somebody who has, really felt the intensity of these feelings and was being, very drawn by that beyond their comfort zone, being very drawn to, reveal a fullness of themselves that they may not have been able to express with others. There's a desire to speak this truth, to speak these revelations, to do this work inside, to, repair themselves, to heal themselves, to recognize their innate wholeness, so that again, when they come back to you, they want to come from a place of repair as opposed to the disrepair and disarray that they may have been operating from when you two first encountered each other or last encountered each other, or that they are currently existing in. So it's almost this idea of keeping themselves segregated from you while this kind of internal work is taking place, this alchemy is taking place within themselves. But somebody who doesn't want this circumstance, whatever that is, to be where the story ends. This is somebody who, is geared toward evolving together beyond these circumstances. And they also say, I secretly listened to video clips you sent me. So again, something about your voice, the words that you say. Maybe this is somebody who's reading over old conversations, text messages, emails, listening to voicemails just to hear your voice. Maybe you have some kind of online presence, and they are able to actually listen to you talk about things. You might have a lot of wisdom that inspires this person, or again, just that vibration, just connecting with you, maybe even just telepathically connecting with you, thinking back, sort of fantasizing on times that you've interacted or dreams of what they hope to experience with you, and that being very nourishing for this person, it being almost this transference of healing across that kind of etheric plane between you. And they also say, you make me feel gorgeous. So again, you help this person to recognize their innate wholeness. If they have considered themselves a broken person up to this point in time, they've considered themselves to be difficult to love, or they've got too many sharp edges, or there's too many flaws. It's they're an imperfect being, and this is just how it is. They're kind of damaged beyond repair. You help this person to see past that illusion. You help this person to find the beauty in that brokenness. You help this person to kind of activate and cultivate that self-healing mechanism, so that they can embrace themselves more fully, flaws and all. This energy of being so easy to talk to. There could be a level of vulnerability that you've expressed with them, and honesty, maybe things that you've shared with this person that you haven't readily shared with others, or a way in which you talk about elements of yourself that might be regarded as things to be kind of ashamed of, or difficulties in your past, things about yourself, maybe some things about yourself that you're working on. Maybe you are very open and direct with this person about some wounds that you have sustained throughout your life, or through love, and you've kind of given this disclaimer to this person, or as things maybe have come up, you've not just allowed that kind of tension to sit and not be talked about, but you really have provided this person with some insight and some explanation about what's going on, about things you're working on within yourself. You've tried to kind of constructively sort of move beyond these obstacles and barriers that the two of you have encountered together. And in the process of doing that, you really have set an example for this person about rigorous self-honesty, about embracing oneself fully, not judging oneself, feeling these feelings, embracing kind of all aspects of oneself. And, even just energetically, as you two are interacting and connecting at a distance, it's helping this person to step out of that energy of maybe feeling kind of sorry for themselves, or again, feeling themselves to be very broken and very flawed, and starting to recognize how the experiences they have had, both positive and negative, through their life, and how that has kind of contorted and distorted their ability at this point to give and receive love. That's not the end of the story. This is all just part of who they are. This is now a door which must be opened. This is now a mountain which must be climbed. And you're starting to help this person realize that there is beauty in that process of becoming. And they also say, I'm sorry I took more than I gave, and yet you never kept score. So they are definitely regretting that missed opportunity to kind of give you some love in a more tangible way, to speak their feelings, to speak their truth, to kind of meet you on some level of intimacy and really participate in taking things to the next level in some sense. They're seeing you as a very just giving and loving soul. They're seeing you as somebody who, kind of embodies this idea of unconditional love, where love is patient, love is kind, love gives space to grow. Love doesn't contain or bind or try to change, but love allows. And it's something that they may have not experienced before with anyone else. And through this kind of period of self-reflection, it's providing that contrast, this idea of kind of the mediocrity that they are experiencing, or kind of the contrast between other dynamics, other people, even in their past, that have kind of used that word love with them, what they've come to understand that as something about this connection. They are starting to understand more of the true face of love, the way that, again, love is a nurturing presence that both challenges and uplifts, as opposed to being kind of an imbalance of either overgiving or of demolition, which is what they might have experienced, either manifesting through themselves in the past, or that other people had really projected to them, or had kind of given to them in the past. And they also say, I view your profile page, but not in a creepy way. So they could be watching you on social media. Again, if you have some kind of public platform where you share ideas, you share wisdom, they're watching this. They're watching your videos. They're looking at your posts, looking at your stories, maybe even from a fake profile so that you don't know it's them. It feels like something where they're very much still cognizant of you. They're aware of you. They're very inspired by you. Very uplifted by you energetically, and there's this desire to kind of move beyond where the circumstances are currently. In some way, this person is looking at you, kind of the way in which you lead your life, the way in which you, again, are very vulnerable and very, in touch with your emotions. You're kind to yourself. You're gentle to yourself. You advocate for yourself, despite heartbreaks you may have had from this person or from other, circumstances in your life. You are just so loving, and it's an inspiration to this person to continue to push and fight beyond these distortions within themselves, to fight to liberate themselves from these kind of chains of fear that are holding them back from kind of manifesting that highest potential and destiny of what love has to offer them in this lifetime through this connection. Okay, and they say this whole twin flame stuff sometimes scares me. So you could resonate as a twin flame. You could consider this person a soulmate, a twin soul, a kindred spirit, a past life soulmate. There's an intensity to this connection, to this dynamic that is different than what you've experienced in other connections with anyone else previously. This person could have really done some research or has come upon some ideas or even concepts about twin flames are connecting with them on a deeper level in conjunction with you and with this connection than maybe what they had experienced or associated with another person. That could resonate for some people, where there's, almost this idea of this person operating with this idea of a brokenness within them, seeing themselves as a deeply flawed individual, sending out that vibration, magnetizing in the mirror of those flaws. They could have magnetized somebody in that they really, considered was their other half, their reflection. And it was really just a reflection of kind of that distortion within themselves. That as these perceptions are cleansed, as they are recognizing this innate wholeness within them, that you have mirrored to this person through standing in your own authenticity. This is helping them to kind of break down those illusions that someone they may have associated with, the one for them, the yin to their yang, their twin flame. They're recognizing that as in fact just something that was mimicking this perception of brokenness within them. As they are recognizing, this wholeness, learning to embrace these, these flaws and these virtues within them, they're starting to recognize you as that true mirror. That mirror that both challenges and uplifts them, that is both, loving and at the same time firm in boundaries, that is loving of other and loving of self. That this energy, that this dynamic, even the way you influence each other from afar, that this is what they want to aspire to. They're recognizing this, and even in the way in which, this situation has been handled, that you've been doing the work on yourself. You've been doing that work toward growth and evolution. You inspire this person to do work toward growth and evolution, whereas other circumstances may have inspired this person to settle or to backtrack, to have to hold space in stagnancy for another individual or an energy that was simply draining. It was something that was simply kind of the de-evolution, kind of the regression, as opposed to stepping forth, as opposed to stepping into that next best version of self. This is something where the intensity of this could definitely be very overwhelming for this person. The intensity of this realization, these epiphanies, these truths and these clarities that are coming out for them as they're having to kind of move away from labels or associations with who they are or who other people are relative to them. This can also really tie into kind of that voice of fear, that element of fears. They were so, magnetized to you, drawn to you, so, intensely feeling this and ready to take things to the next level, ready to express themselves or to, surrender into this flow, move out of that energy of resistance and allow kind of this connection to unfold, allow the two of you to, really kind of unveil a depth to each other and allow each other to be, seen and understood almost beyond words, soul to soul interfacing with one another that, was very, it was very inviting for this person, but at the same time, kind of this fear that to open that door, everything changes. There's no going back from that. And so kind of this, knowing that they are being led in that direction, wanting that as this ultimate goal, seeing that as the path, seeing that as kind of what all these other sort of disappointments and distortions in love and in life have all been the paved stones that have led them to this intersection here, this point of time right here, this point of decision right here to, kind of evolve or to remain in this kind of pattern or this habit of not living their life and not experiencing love at the full kind of volume and luminosity which is possible for them. And we also have the thought of explaining myself and apologizing scares me. I don't want to see the pain I have caused in your eyes. So somebody that knows they need to speak where they were silent before, or maybe in some way denied their feelings for you, pushed you away, refuse to kind of participate or move forward with this connection at a certain point in time that has created literal distance or even just energetic distance between the both of you. It has changed something. This desire that this person has to kind of get things back on track, to take a chance where they hesitated before, but still really being held back from that because it's almost this idea of the heartbreak you experienced was felt by this person. They could feel your heart breaking in real time in the aftermath of that. They've been very inspired by how you have dealt with that, how you have not projected that upon them, how you have not kind of lashed out or been vicious about that, how you have just kind of tended your own wounds, you soothed yourself, you've healed yourself. They have watched you transmute this energy into something of beauty and purpose in whatever way that resonates for you. But they also understand that to move forward, they must address that point of decision where one road was taken and another was unexplored. And so they want to go down that unexplored path. They want to do things differently. They want to change. But there's also this this sense with as deeply as they feel you, as deeply as they felt that crushing and that breaking in that moment or in kind of the aftermath of that, there is this hesitation to touch upon that again, not wanting to make matters worse, not wanting to hurt you anymore than they maybe already have, even just kind of unintentionally, but at the same time recognizing that that's a very necessary kind of point of return in order to move forward. And they also say, I miss being intimate with you. So they miss the closeness that the two of you shared. If you're in complete separation, no contact, they are missing even just quiet moments that you shared, time spent together, conversations that were had, the exchange of ideas, the exchange of energy. This could be somebody that is now just kind of, left to sort of, this Five of Pentacles energy, kind of watching your life from the outside. Seeing you from a new vantage point, appreciating you and your energy from a new way. Love could have been quite scary or quite unusual for this person. They could have been so accustomed to the pain and the sense of brokenness that they felt that they almost pushed away or recoiled from the medicine that you had to offer them that kind of pointed the way to how they had been kind of misperceiving these broken pieces as in fact, a larger mosaic of who they are as opposed to kind of a flaw or deficiency within them. And there's this desire to, again, kind of resume that closeness, move back into that light that is exchanged between the two of you. This person longing for you, nostalgic, again, kind of yearning for that love, yearning to move back into the light of this connection. If this is still someone you're in contact with, this is whatever that missed opportunity could have been, it definitely changed something in the energy and the dynamic. You may have needed to kind of take back your own power in this situation. You may have needed to kind of pull yourself back, pull your heart back a little bit, kind of self-protect, being loving, but at the same time, allowing for that space. Like they were saying, I need my space. And you can be somebody who's definitely honored that energetically by not trying to pour too much into this or to overwhelm this person. And in that act of honoring, it feels like something that is almost a gift no one has given them before. It is helping them to appreciate you on a deeper level and to recognize kind of the purity and the creative potential in this connection. That, as disappointing as that might have been, you have not allowed that to kind of diminish the way in which you are, receiving this person energetically. You've not allowed that to, turn into something vicious. You've not allowed that to kind of bring out the worst in you or to bring out some kind of underlying toxicity. And it's through that process that this person is really starting to kind of get that awakening and that awareness of sort of who you are to them, and just how nurturing this dynamic is compared to, other circumstances, maybe with someone they considered a twin flame or a soulmate, or other experiences of love and connection that they've had in the past. Okay, and we have, I know you're my twin flame. So again, another confirmation there where this person, if they are aware of these concepts, they recognize you as that true twin, as the person, the one that they have been kind of going through these pitfalls or even through some phase of a twin flame journey in order to really intersect with you, that the two of you have in some way affected and changed each other for the best. This is the fire of transmutation that not only kind of breaks down illusions, but at the same time is that fire of nourishment, is that fire of being very uplifted, is that shelter. which is so different than what they may have experienced with others, which could have been predominantly being burned or scorched or maimed or disfigured, and somehow confirming that brokenness or something that made this person really kind of feel that they only had themselves to rely on to kind of close off and to shut down. This is a situation that instead invites them to open up, invites them to expand, as difficult as this circumstance might be, and as much as they are really wrestling with that idea of kind of regret and missed opportunity. There's a hopefulness here that this can be transcended, that there is a way within themselves to come into this state of repair, and that through that process, this knowing that there will be repair in this circumstance in the future, this understanding that the two of you are already so united at that higher self level, you are guiding and kind of helping each other through this process. Again, that energy of love being patient, love being kind, love transforming for the better, as opposed to circumstances of love in the past that could have been just very kind of destructive. And they also say, I love you. So this could be what that missed opportunity was, what they wanted to say, what was on the tip of their tongue, what they were being so called to express to you, and that they didn't. They didn't move toward that. They didn't move into that energy of love. They chose the path of fear. A person who's feeling that they may have almost set themselves or set the connection back to some extent, but at the same time, that pervasiveness of love is helping them to sort of forgive themselves and to recognize a way forward can be made, a way forward can be shown, the way forward is within. That kind of understanding and that love within, that there's beauty in that brokenness, that these flaws make up kind of the intricacy of the full package, and then through that process, as this person is looking in the ways in which you are infusing love into all corners of yourself, it exudes in everything you do and everything you touch and everything you express. They see you as the embodiment of that love that is both fierce and kind, that this is something that it's really it's this point on the horizon that they are kind of moving toward. It's this lighthouse energy. It's helping your kind of embodiment and expression of that loving energy is helping this person. It's mirroring for this person, for your twin flame. It is mirroring for them that love that they also are within themselves. And they say, you don't know how hard it was to let you go. So this feels like almost immediate regret at that missed opportunity. Somebody who, by holding back or pulling back or pushing this connection away, it's a decision that didn't feel good for them. It's something that has sat with them. It has been unsettling for this person. It has been something that has really, in the time that has passed since it, that has helped them also to really gain some greater perspective again as far as their ideas and experiences of love and connection in other ways that might be in their life or in their past. And it's this idea of, by pushing you away, they pushed away a part of themselves. By letting go of you, they let go of a part of themselves. By finding themselves, they find you. This sense of wholeness that you're helping this person to recognize, and that you mirrored for this person, even at the time, even initially, that, it was so kind of attractive, it was so alluring, it was a different reflection of them than they'd ever been able to perceive before, that anyone else had ever kind of shown them before. And almost this energy of disbelief, not wanting to believe that, having become so accustomed to this idea of brokenness, that to be shown that wholeness, flaws and all, was just something that almost this idea of disbelief caused them to kind of let that go, to kind of try to push this away as sort of a dreamy energy. And they also say, I hid who I really am from you. So if this person has come across as kind of cold and detached, maybe denied that they had feelings for you, or in some way kind of sought to extinguish the connection or kind of move away from it or push it away, that this is really kind of a mask. It's a ruse that hides a lot of deep love that they have for you, a deep intensity of feelings. Someone who also may have really tried to present a very confident and stoic, kind of detached exterior that has hidden a lot of that sense of brokenness, these kind of weeping wounds within this person that through all of that, you were able to just kind of touch them at the soul level. You're able to kind of see beyond that. You were able to get to that root of the wound within them and show them the healing that also existed kind of between all these cracks within themselves that nobody has been able to touch on before, that they weren't even really cognizant of within themselves prior to interacting with you. And they also say, I feel you even though we are apart. So you're still very much energetically connected with this person, still at the 5D, you are in union with this person, despite whatever might be occurring or not occurring in the 3D level. This person is very aware of this as well. They are coming into this awareness. Illusions are being shattered within this person, and they're feeling the perpetuity of the bond between the both of you, the perpetuity of that love, despite what has been shown or not shown, despite what has taken place or has not taken place. That through this process of healing themselves, they're feeling you there, kind of guiding them through that, challenging them to continue looking at those parts that it's hard to acknowledge, to continue to be gentle and kind with themselves through this process. They're feeling very encouraged and uplifted with you through this very difficult journey and this kind of solo energy. And they also say, I want to tell you how I feel. So again, that idea of missed opportunity, wanting to come back to that point of decision where one road was taken, the road of fear, and the road of love was kind of left. It was unexplored. This person is not content to leave things as they are. They are trying to do that work within themselves to come to that space of recognizing their innate wholeness so that they have something of value and meaning to offer to you. This feels like someone who wants to come back into your life, but to do it correctly, to not come in with this impression of themselves as a very tattered and jagged person, but somebody who is kind of learning that these rough edges are in fact just an illusion for kind of this this tenderness, this smoothness that they have within them that they had been overlooking. And they also say, I regret lying to you. So this can relate to this person maybe denying that they had feelings for you, trying to keep things in the friend zone or to try to push you away. Somebody who, if you'd even mentioned like twin flame or soulmate, saying that didn't resonate with them, or, just even kind of projecting that title or that belief onto somebody else, saying they don't believe in these things when, maybe these concepts have resonated with them. Or even if it was before they had a lexicon for it, maybe they still don't have words to attach to that. It's a depth and a level of feeling and intensity, a unique vibration between the both of you that is unmatched from anything they've experienced before or since. And there's a sense of, this opportunity to express that, to say, yes, I feel this too. This is intense. Let's explore this together. Yes, this is a very, out of the ordinary connection. This is very high level. This is, something which, inspires me and moves me. I feel this. I feel you. I feel this exchange between us. And instead, this person, denied that or really kept that inside, kept that to themselves. And it's a sense of, they're having to sit with that now, with kind of that salty energy of regret. And a desire to kind of move back into the energy of sweetness with you, to create some kind of balance within this, to maybe tell you just how much of an impact you have had upon them, to tell you just how much they regard you, how much they have been thinking about you, how much they have been moved by you and changed by you and transformed by you in this connection in beautiful and unexpected ways. Okay, and they say, you are my future wife. So that can be future husband, future wife, just whatever resonates for you, future partner. This person really recognizes you as the one, as their counterpart, as something that they are wanting to strive toward. Motivation within themselves to kind of do this work within themselves, to come to that place of wholeness and love and self-acceptance, self-knowledge, self-recognition, to be able to, provide you with their ability to give and receive love in a healthy and reciprocal manner. This feels like somebody who, is wanting to come back into your life and to do it right, to do it for the long term, not somebody that wants this in and out energy. Somebody who recognizes you as, a very compatible person with them, someone they could really build a future with, somebody that could, really support them and challenge them in their dreams and the pursuit of their goals, somebody, that they want to be that person for you, that kind of support system, that challenge, that encouragement, as you are also striving to create and live your best life, to fulfill your life purpose in this incarnation. They see a future with you. This is a horizon that they are working toward, and kind of in this process right now of, again, needing to sort of recognize and accept and move into the energy of trust and belief about that innate wholeness within them that you have mirrored. And they also say, I'm scared, it's too risky. So this can tie into kind of that energy of the missed opportunity, the ways in which they held back in the past. This fear that to open the door with you, to open the door to love, to their heart, and to this connection in a profound way, the sense that it would change everything. Being very drawn to do that, to change in the most wonderful of ways, but being very uncertain what lies on the other side of that. A lot of heartbreaks that could have come up from the past, a lot of disappointments that kind of operated as that whispering voice that said, what if this is just like all the other times? What if this is just like, other circumstances where you thought it was love and it turned out to be something very destructive? And so this is all part of what this person is needing to come to terms with, to reconcile within themselves, to come to a place of acceptance within themselves, how kind of difficulties, wounds that have lingered, these broken shards, or what they have perceived as broken shards, have been kind of carried around within them, that have kind of affected their ability to allow the medicine of love to enter. Coming to terms with that, activating and accepting that self-healing, accepting the healing that comes through this connection from the higher realms while the two of you are in separation, allowing themselves to be well. This could be somebody who's become so accustomed to feeling hurt that idea of wellness, it feels so foreign, so alien, so other to them, that they kind of have recoiled from that. But there's a sense of them leaning more into that, wanting this closeness, wanting this union with you, feeling this deep longing for you, in tandem with this deep longing they have to love themselves. And they also say, connect with me in the 5D. So acknowledgement there that the two of you are connected in the higher realms. You're guiding each other. You're encouraging each other. The love that has been unable to be expressed in the 3D at this point is flowing very freely in those higher realms. And so they are encouraging you to, through meditation, or at times where you really feel the call of their soul to you, or times where you're feeling a bit challenged, you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, they're encouraging you to reach out to them in that sense, while they're still kind of in this process of coming into that understanding of wholeness in a 3D sense. In the 5D sense, they're already there, so they're inviting you to tap into that. They want to be that support system for you. They want to be that shelter for you. They want to be that nourishment for you in all the ways that you have been this for them. And they also say, I am a mess. So again, this idea of broken pieces kind of clattering around within this person, them being in this process of needing to kind of repair that, to realize that they have always had that medicine within them. They've always had that kind of adhesive, that gold within them, that through this brokenness or the perception of brokenness, they are in fact reinforced. This is somebody who's, maybe in this process also of kind of retracing their steps, recognizing some patterns, or how disappointments of their past have kind of been weaponry that were inadvertently sort of utilized in this circumstance to push away the blessings that this connection had offered. And they also say, I hate that I hurt you. So again, they felt your heartbreak, they feel your pain, they feel the sorrow associated with this. And it's something that, you know, it's very difficult for them, the idea of facing that. As much as they can feel this from afar, the idea of, you know, having that interaction with you kind of in real time and in a tangible way, kind of addressing that elephant in the room. There's this hesitation about if they can feel it so acutely from afar, what's that going to do, you know, in kind of that direct and speaking about it in a forthright manner, what's that going to do? There's a part of them that is urging them to that point. That it's necessary in order to move forward. We must come back to the start. We must come back to that point of intersection where the road of fear was taken and the road of love was abandoned, to come back to that choice point and to make a different decision, to choose that different path, to choose that different route, to provide love, love without the condition or expectation of you know, gaining something in return, but expressing that love that, you know, just existed. It was and still is kind of wanting that outlet. It's wanting to be made manifest. It's wanting to be acknowledged and kind of brought down from those higher realms into physical 3D reality. And so this process of fear and avoidance is something this person's coming to terms with in themselves, maybe a pattern of avoidance in their life in general from difficult situations or times that have really required them to really open up and speak their truth and be vulnerable. But this is a work in progress, the two of you really helping and guiding each other from the higher realms in this kind of process of sort of enveloping yourselves individually in the love that you innately are, so that you are then able, from that recognition of your sort of unconquerable state of wholeness within, you are able to then exude that out and to reflect in totality the kind of love that the two of you are, that the two of you have for each other. You're able to really reflect and mirror that greatest potential of what you two can become through love within each other and within this connection. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 3, this could be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got H, C, I, O, E, S, Q, G, Z, and P. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.